168 will leave no doubt.
Yeah, it will be great. 168, it's no excuses.
Would you?
Yo, what's good, everyone? This is Ayo Boxing with Madiba, and we're here to discuss what happens if Dmitry Bivol beats Canelo Alvarez at super middleweight. So recently, Bivol has stated that, quote, I want more belts. It doesn't matter who, I just want belts. Light heavyweight or super middleweight, whichever is easier to make the fight, I prefer that fight, end quote. And this is interesting to hear because Eddie Hearn has stated that Canelo wants to rematch at light heavyweight. But we all know what happened to Canelo when he moved up to light heavyweight to fight Bivol last year. Canelo got dominated, and it was the biggest upset of 2020. It seems like Canelo has a hard time accepting that loss because he's come out with excuses for why he lost. And here's a clip of Bivol listing those excuses.
Some excuses, yeah, I heard some excuses. He said just that it's not his weight classes, and then he said that he didn't get a good training camp, and then he said that he was a problem with the arm.
And I'm not denying the fact that size and weight may have played a factor in that fight, but the way I see boxing is if you sign that contract to fight, then that means you're fine with all the disadvantages and advantages, so there shouldn't be any excuses. You also have to remember that Canelo hype was at an all-time high. Fans, boxing media, and other boxers thought that Canelo was unbeatable, and I thought he was unbeatable at that time as well. He was supposed to fight at cruiserweight against Makabu, and some were even suggesting that he should fight Usyk, a heavyweight. But times have changed, and people in general look at Canelo as more vulnerable rather than unbeatable at this time. But all signs point to a Bivol Canelo rematch later this year. First, Canelo's fighting the WBO mandatory against John Ryder in May, while Bivol is most likely fighting Joshua Buatsi in the spring. Initially, Bivol wanted to fight Better Beef for Undisputed at light heavyweight, but Better Beef appears to be busy with fighting mandatories this year because he's fighting Anthony Yard this weekend, and he's supposed to fight Callum Smith later this year. Furthermore, Bob Arum has stated that he would not let Better Beef fight under a Hearn promoted card, so Better Beef is not an option for Bivol. And Hearn has really been pushing for this rematch between Bivol and Canelo, so it's guaranteed it's going to happen sometime in the fall, maybe September. But that's assuming that Canelo and Bivol gets past their spring opponents, which I believe they will. But if this fight does happen at super middleweight, what will happen if Bivol beats Canelo? Well, Bivol will take off Canelo's belts and be undisputed at super middleweight. Bivol's legacy would be cemented, and he'll become a bigger star within the sport of boxing, and he would gain the ultimate recognition from his peers and fans, and people will see him as a pound for pound great of this generation. But the opposite will be for Canelo. I mean, Canelo is already all-time great and gonna be a future Hall of Famer, but losing to Bivol at super middleweight, I believe his stock will drop, and the perception of him being the face of boxing and being a pound for pound great will diminish. A defeat at super middleweight will be more damaging to Canelo's career compared to losing at light heavyweight. You have to remember that boxing fans are fickle, and they will turn on you on a dime, and they will hate when the opportunity is there to hate. I don't see a trilogy happening either, and I see Bivol vacating the belts right after the fight. So this would lead to a free-for-all between the top super middleweight contenders for the vacated belts, and Canelo would most likely have to fight guys like Benavidez, Plant, Andre, Charlo, David Morrell, and etc. And to be honest, I like Canelo. I think he's a great fighter, and he'll have a better chance at beating Bivol at super middleweight, but I don't see how Canelo would beat Bivol. I understand that Canelo is an all-time great and has the ability to adapt and change his style, but I believe this is a style mismatch, and I believe that Bivol just has his number. It is what it is, but who knows? This is boxing. Anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba, Hit like and subscribe, and more content's coming your way.